Welcome to the second Christian content connection for Chapter 2 on evolution. Now, if you already watched Mr. Kuchma's Intro to Life Sciences 11, you're going to hear a little bit about what I had to say in regards to the theory of evolution and what we as a school believe and what I believe personally. So what I wanted to quickly do, I'm not going to do a very in-depth video, but I just wanted to show my point of view on this topic, and hopefully be able to divide between the science and the beliefs. So what I say by that is that I have my own beliefs about things that supersede other things that supersede my science beliefs or things like that. So I guess an example would be, that I've witnessed a miracle where someone was healed, and I can't really wrap my head around that from a science perspective, that someone would be able to, not die when I thought that they were going to. But my beliefs, because I do believe in God, allows me to say, yes, that totally makes sense. God can do that. So in this chapter, I think that there are certain things that science makes sense. And then there's a certain point of it where I think that science becomes a belief. So parts of this I totally believe, and I'll talk about that. I'm actually going to skip right ahead to the variation and speciation. So natural selection is 100% scientific. You can see it in nature. If you do any studying within population biology, which I've done a little tiny bit, you'll see natural selection happen. Mutations, yes, mutations happen. I really struggle that mutations is the basis for pushing evolution forward, because mutations are so iffy. They hardly ever code for something that is good. In fact, most mutations automatically destroy that organism because the coding is just wrong. Whereas if you move down to microevolution, this is, again, 100% scientific. I should say that mutations is not non-scientific. Mutations is very scientific. I just don't believe that's the driving force that's moving us forward into higher evolved beings. And I don't think that there is such a thing as more higher evolved beings, because God created us the way we are, and the only being that's going to be greater than us is Him. So speciation, again, this is 100% scientific. If you look at the taxonomy and you look at all the different stages, I think that speciation, so evolution between species, changes, that is science. That makes sense. I'm okay with that. When we start looking at evolution, or popping different things past that, and the whole idea of common ancestors, that's where it gets dicey for me. And that's where, to me personally, I think that it requires a certain amount of faith in your evolutionary beliefs. So I am going to believe in God creating the world, and you can believe in evolution driving it. So speciation, genetic drift, different ways of selection, that is totally scientific. You can see that. So for me, microevolution, A-okay, I can get behind this. But macroevolution, I just can't, and I don't think I ever will. And I think that if you do believe in macroevolution, you should give it some serious thought and take a look at it. I do realize that not everyone is going to hold the same scientific views as me because I am believing in God. So if you don't believe in God, obviously you're not going to be able to have the same scientific background, same scientific belief as me. And that's totally fair. I think that if you do not believe in God, hey, that's okay. Um, I know that there's been times in my life where I've struggled with that, to be perfectly honest, but um, I've definitely come to a very grounded and rooted faith to where I am today. And I'd love to talk to you with you about that if you do have questions. But what I would say that even if you don't believe in God, I would challenge you to consider intelligent design because that is something that I would say is evident in what we see based on just everything. Organization of life, DNA, genetics, the way that the world is built, there's order out of the chaos. And to me, that only comes uh, from an intelligent source. Interestingly enough, someone actually won the Nobel Prize, I want to say like 5 years ago, for their theory on seeding. And basically, they saw the intelligence on Earth. They said, yes, uh, I, I, I think that there is an intelligent source out there. So they theorized that life on Earth was seeded, that someone came and planted life here. Um, they don't believe that it was God. They are more on a, some sort of intelligent being. You can't use alien in a scientific journal, but that's basically the idea. And where my beliefs lie again is that that seeding was God. God is the one who spoke everything into existence. So hopefully that helps you navigate a little bit of this. About the evolution, variation, and natural selection. It ties in a little bit even with chapter 1 on taxonomy, and will tie in, moving forward as well. But just wanted to quickly share where my beliefs are, and if you want to come and chat about this, I would love to. So there is part 2 on the Christian content connection.